There's a kind of discomfort that doesn't feel dramatic, but quietly follows you through the day. A heaviness in your lower abdomen, a sense that something should happen, but doesn't. You go to the bathroom, wait, maybe strain a little, and leave feeling unfinished, as if your body paused halfway through a process it usually handles without effort. It's surprisingly common, and yet it often feels oddly personal. Why would something so routine suddenly feel stuck? To understand constipation, it helps to imagine your digestive system as a slow-moving conveyor belt. Food enters at one end, is broken down and absorbed as it travels, and the remaining waste is gradually moved along the intestines until it's ready to leave the body. Most of this movement happens through something called peristalsis, wave-like muscle contractions that gently push contents forward, not fast, not forceful, but steady and coordinated. Constipation is what happens when that conveyor belt slows down, or when the final stage of the process becomes harder to complete. Let's follow the journey. After digestion in the stomach and small intestine, what remains enters the large intestine or colon. At this point, most nutrients have already been absorbed. The colon's main job is to reabsorb water and form stool. This is where timing becomes important. If stool moves through the colon at a steady pace, it retains enough water to stay soft and easy to pass. But if movement slows, the colon continues absorbing water. The longer it sits, the drier and firmer it becomes. So the issue isn't just movement, it's time. Have you ever noticed how constipation can feel like both a lack of movement and a change in texture? That's exactly what's happening. Slower transit leads to harder stool, and harder stool is more difficult to move, creating a cycle. There is also the role of the rectum, the final section of the digestive tract. This is where stool is stored briefly before elimination. When stool enters the rectum, it stretches the walls, triggering a reflex, the urge to go. But here's something many people don't realize. That urge is time sensitive. If it's ignored repeatedly because you're busy, not near a bathroom, or simply distracted, the rectum gradually adapts. It stretches more easily, and the signal becomes weaker. The body becomes less responsive to the same level of fullness. So the conveyor belt slows, and the signal at the end becomes quieter. Another lesser-known detail involves fiber, but not in the way it's often simplified. Fiber isn't just one thing. There's soluble fiber, which absorbs water and forms a gel-like consistency, and insoluble fiber, which adds bulk and helps stimulate movement. Both play different roles, and balance matters. Too little fiber can slow things down, but suddenly increasing fiber without enough fluid can make stool bulkier without making it easier to pass. Water is essential here. Fiber works by interacting with water. Without enough hydration, the system doesn't function as intended. There's also the influence of the gut microbiota, the community of bacteria living in the colon. These microbes ferment certain types of fiber, producing short-chain fatty acids that help stimulate movement and support the health of the colon lining. So the bacteria themselves are part of the conveyor system, influencing how smoothly things move. Movement of the body plays a role too. Physical activity stimulates intestinal contractions, not dramatically, but enough to support rhythm. When activity levels are low, that gentle stimulation decreases. Have you ever noticed how travel, routine changes, or long periods of sitting can affect digestion? That's the system responding to changes in timing, movement, and environment. There's also the nervous system. The gut is closely connected to the autonomic nervous system, the part of your body that controls automatic functions. The rest and digest branch, called the parasympathetic system, supports digestion and movement through the intestines. When the body is in a more alert or stressed state, digestion can slow. Not because something is wrong, but because the body is prioritizing other functions. This helps explain Why constipation can appear during busy or stressful periods, even without changes in diet. Here's a common misconception that constipation simply means not going often enough. In reality, it can also involve difficulty passing stool, a feeling of incomplete emptying, or the need to strain. Frequency is only one part of the picture. Another lesser known detail is posture. The position of the body during elimination affects the angle of the rectum. A more natural squatting position straightens this angle, making passage easier, while a seated position can create a slight bend. It's a small anatomical detail, but it changes the mechanics of the final step. There's also timing within the day. The body has a natural reflex called the gastrocolic reflex, meaning stomach to colon reflex, which increases intestinal activity after eating, especially in the morning. This is why some people feel the urge to go shortly after breakfast. Ignoring this window repeatedly can contribute to that quieter signal over time. Temperature can even play a role. Warmth can relax muscles, including those in the digestive tract, while cold can have a tightening effect, subtle but noticeable for some people. And then there's the emotional layer, not in the sense that constipation is caused by emotions, but in how awareness and tension interact with the body. The pelvic floor muscles, the muscles involved in elimination, need to relax for stool to pass. If those muscles remain slightly tense, even unconsciously, it can make the process feel more difficult. The sensation of constipation, heaviness, fullness, resistance, is your body communicating that movement has slowed, and the final step isn't aligning as smoothly as it could. And there is a protective aspect to this. The colon's role in absorbing water is essential for maintaining fluid balance in the body. It continues doing this job regardless of timing. The system prioritizes conservation, even if it means stool becomes firmer. The body is not trying to make things difficult. It's following its design. There are also subtle ways the system can be supported through everyday patterns. Regular meals, gentle movement, allowing time for the body's natural rhythms, responding to signals when they appear. Even small adjustments, like a calmer environment, a consistent routine, or simply not rushing, can align with how the system prefers to function. The digestive tract is not a fast system. It's rhythmic, responsive, and influenced by many small factors rather than one single cause. So when things feel slower, when the process feels incomplete or more effortful, it isn't random. It's the conveyor belt moving at a different pace, the signals shifting, the balance between water, movement, and timing, adjusting in response to your body's current state. And beneath it all, the system is still working, absorbing, moving, adapting, quietly trying to find its rhythm again in a world that doesn't always move at the same pace it does. Here are 5 lesser known, scientifically supported ways to help prevent constipation by supporting how your digestive system naturally works. 1. Using your body's natural timing, gastrocolic reflex. Your colon becomes more active after eating, especially in the morning. Sitting calmly after meals, even if the urge is mild, helps reinforce this natural rhythm and trains the body to empty more regularly. 2. Optimizing posture during bowel movements. A more squat-like position, knees slightly higher than hips, straightens the rectum, making it easier to pass stool. This reduces strain and improves the mechanics of elimination. 3. Balancing fiber types, not just increasing fiber. Soluble fiber, like oats, chia, fruit, helps soften stool, while insoluble fiber, like whole grains, vegetables, adds bulk. The right balance supports smoother movement. Too much of one type alone can sometimes worsen symptoms. 4. Supporting gut bacteria with fermentable fibers. Certain fibers, called prebiotics, feed beneficial gut bacteria, which produce compounds that stimulate bowel movement. Foods like onions, garlic, bananas, and legumes support this process. 5. Gentle daily movement, especially after meals. Light walking after eating can stimulate peristalsis, the wave-like contractions of the gut, helping move stool along more efficiently without needing intense exercise. These approaches work by improving the timing, mechanics, and gut signaling, helping the system stay in rhythm rather than forcing movement artificially. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more health tips.